Dear students, welcome to the fifth lecture of the management. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the another important theories regarding the management. After the evolution of the management, we discuss a lot of the theories in the fourth lecture, like the Herbert theory and the Maslow need hierarchical theories, and a lot of the theories. And we are continuing again what are the important theories regarding the management. Okay. And the first important theory is the Cheston-Bernard theory. There's another important theories relating with the management. The Bernard formulated two interesting theories. One is authority point of view, and other one is incentives point of view. That is a contribution of the Cheston-Bernard. That means he formulated two interesting theories in the management. One is authority point of view, and other one is incentives point of view. Therefore, the both are relating with the communication system. The both theories are relating in the context of the communication system. The Bernard developed this theory, that means theory of authority and the incentives in the context of the communication system. Therefore, the 7 essential rules framed by the Cheston-Bernard. Here we are discussing the 7 important rules. That means what are the important rules regarding the Cheston-Bernard theory. The first one, channel of communication should be definite. The first important, the channel of communication. The business organization must be concentrating the channel of communication. Exchange of idea, fact between the two or more persons. There's upward communication, downward, then horizontal communication. There's chance for the different types of the communication. So communication should be specific and definite. This proper communication will be happen in an organization. So organization must conscious regarding the communication system. That's the first important rule is the channel of communication. And the second one is everyone should know the channel of communication. So the persons who are working in the organization must be familiar with the communication system. Suppose the upward format or the downward format. So everyone working in the organization should be familiar with the channel of the communications, because it's ensure the smoothness of the organization. So the second one is everyone should know the channel of communication. And third one is everyone should assess the formal channel of communication. The formal means official channel of communication. So everyone should have assessed the formal channel of communications. So the given the importance to the formal communication, that means official relationships. It's a very important element of the communication. So everyone should have assessed the formal channel of the communication. So strive for the formal communications. And another one is line of communication should be short and the direct as possible. The line of communication, the communication line, that means length of the communication as per short and direct. Possible you can treat or make the short and the direct possible communication. Suppose you're interacting with the top level managers, your communication try to be short or direct communication that ensure the success of your organization. So that is the line of communication. And another one is the competence of person serving the communication center should be adequate. The competent person must be appointed for the right job. That means competency of the person is serving as a communication. Suppose he must be educated person, here the communication must be entirely different. So the competency of the person is differ from person to person. So you must be appointed the competent person for the communicating activities. Suppose you are selecting the top level manager, the top level manager must be the communicating person, and the communication center should be adequate. That's one of the important elements, the communication, this competency of the person. And another one is the line of communication should not be interrupted when organization is functioning. That means line of authority, that means top to bottom approach, that is a line of authority. The line of communication should not be interrupted when the organization is functioning. That means should not create any interruptions for the line of communication. That is another important element of the one of the important rules regarding the Cheston-Bernard theory. And last one is every communication should be authenticated. The organization, that must be the authenticated communication. Every communication must be the authenticated. And these are the 7 important rules regarding the Chestnut-Bernard theory. This theory is focusing on the authority and the incentives, and he see the entire element in the context of the communication system. So the social system theory, organization made of people who have interacting social relationship. The communication is the essential heart of an organization. The success depends upon the maintaining the good relationship. So the Bernard says that the success is depends on the maintaining the good relationship. How to maintaining the good relationship? So only through the proper communication system. So he framed the entire rule is based on the communication system. That's the first important theory, is the Chestnut-Bernard theory. And another person is Herbert Simon. He is another important thinker in the field of the management, and he contributed to both the social system and the decision theory. It's a contribution regarding the social system and the decision theory. And he framed the 5 important elements. The first one is the concept of organization. Herbert Simon says that the organization is one of the important elements, and Simon described an organization as a complex network of the decision process. All point out towards the influence upon the behavior of the operations. So the very important element, you are the concept of the organization. That means there may be chance for the complex network within the organization. So the all point towards their influence upon the behavior of the operations. So that is very important. Suppose there may be chance for the complex relationship in an organization, the decision making process in an organization. So he has described an organization as a complex network of the decision process, and all pointed towards the influence upon the behavior of the operations. That means those persons who are working in an organization will be stabilize the needs of the organization. That's one of the important elements, is the concept of the organization. He suggests the first important element is the concept of the organization. Okay, and second one is the decision making. The decision making, another important part. The decision making is a core management, and management is synonymous with the decision making. So management must focusing on the decision making. Simon focused at the decision making, right decision at the right time. Organization always try to make the right decision for the betterment of the organization. So that means your organization will be definitely reach the higher stage when we promote the good system of the decision making. Take the right decision at the right time. The second important element of the Herbert Simon theory is good decision making. The first one is the concept of organization, and second one is the decision making, and third one is the bounded rationing. The human behavior is not completely rational. There may be chance for irrational behavior. We are thinking, speaking, there may be irrational feelings maybe happen. So he has criticized the theories which are based on the assumptions are complete rationally. That means bound, ഒരിക്കലും നമ്മളൊരു ഇറാഷണൽ ഫീലിങ്സ് ഉള്ള മനുഷ്യരായിരിക്കും കൂടുതൽ കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. ഒരിക്കലും റാഷണാലിറ്റി ഉള്ളവர்கள் കൂടുതൽ ഇറാഷണൽ ഫീലിങ്സ് ഉള്ള വ്യക്തികളാണ് കൂടുതൽ കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. So he assumed that the assumption of the complete rationality, that means bounded rationally. That is not completely rational. There may be chance for the irrational feelings. So that is the term is known as the bounded rationally. That's another important contribution made by the Herbert Simon. And the fourth one is the administrative man. The man is the most significant resources within the organization. Simon has given the concept of administration man as a model of decision making. That means the decision taken by the man. The man is the most valuable resources within the organization, because entire administration process is be taken by the man. So the man is one of the important elements. So one of the important principles is administrative man. And the last one is organizational communication. That means the proper communication. 3 stages of the communication process. That means intimation, transmission, and the receipt of the information. And here the Simons argue that 3 important stages. One is initiation, another one is transmittal, and the another one is a receipt of the information. And these are the important stages of the Herbert Simon theory. The first one, the concept of the organization, and second one is the decision making, and third one is bounded rationally, and another one is administrative man, and fourth one is organizational communication. These are the important contributions made by the Simon in the field of the management. And his theory is focusing on the social system and the decision making. The organization and its decision making. Therefore, he defined the 5 important elements. There is a concept of the organization. There must be proper decision making system. Human behaviors rationally. There is administrative and organizational communication. These are the important contribution made by the Herbert Simon in the field of the management. Second person is Simon. The first person Bernard. Second person Simon. And third person is the Lyndall, Fowners, Urwick. There's a third person is a Lyndall. And the Lyndall contributing a lot of the principles in the field of the management. And he is a UK based management expert. He find out the 8 important principles of the management. The first one is the principle of objective. The organization should be clear objectives. The first importance is given to the objective. The organization have the clear-cut objectives. Objectives are essential for the success. So the principle of objective is one of the important contribution made by the Lyndall. And second one is the principles of correspondence. That means authority should be, responsibility should be equal. The correspondence means that the authority and the responsibility should be equal. There is a parity and authority responsibility. Authority is increased, naturally the chance for the responsibility, increasing the responsibility. There is a principle of correspondence states that there must be the authority and responsibility, and this authority response should be the equal. And another one is the principle of responsibility. That means the superior is absolutely responsible for the work of the subordinate. This is very similar principle of the Henry V. That means the superior is always responsible for the works of the subordinate. The whatever mistakes conducted by the subordinate is answerable by the superior. That means the responsibility is given to the superiors only. And there is a scalar principle, the pyramid approach. That means the build up the organization. Scalar chain principle, the chain of command is essential within organization. So fourth one is a chain of command. And fifth one is span of control. That's number of the managers have effectively managed by, number of the subordinate can effectively managed by the superior. The term is known as just span of control. So the principle of the span of control. And the sixth one is the principle of the specialization. That's the division of works. Henry V principle point of view. There is a principle of specialization. That means a person give the charge in the expert field. That means division of works lead to the specialization. So the specialization is part of the 6th important principle of the Lyndall. And the 7th one is the principle of the coordination. The coordination within that means teamwork within organization. Esprit de corps. That's a Henry V principle. There is a cooperation, the coordination within your organization. That's another important principles of the Lyndall. The last one is the principle of the definition. That means that clear and the prescription of the every duty. That's a definition. That means whatever is your duty must be the clear specification and a clear prescription for every duty. This Lyndall suggests that the duty have the specific prescriptions. Okay, so these are the 8 important principles contributed by the Lyndall. The first one is the principle of the objectives, and another one is the principle of the correspondence, the principle of the responsibility, and the scalar principle, that is the chain of command, the principle of the span of control, the principle of specialization, the principle of coordination, and principle of the definition. That means prescription of the every duty. These are the important contribution made by the Lyndall in the field of the management. That is the Lyndall contributions, Lyndall principles regarding the management. Okay, and after the next person is a Peter Drucker. The Peter Drucker is another important expert in the field of the management. One of the important contributions is the management by the objectives. One of the important contribution of the Peter Drucker is the management by the objectives. And here the Peter contributions are including the field of the nature of the management. What the nature of the management? The management functions, organization structure, federalism, the management by the objectives, and organizational change. And the 6 important contribution made by the Peter Drucker. The first one, nature of the management. The nature management is always universal. Applied concept is a pervasive sometimes. It's a universally applied, it's an interdisciplinary concept. The strength of the management, Peter Drucker suggests that the management nature is very important element. And second one is the management function, that is a production function, operation function, planning, organizing, marketing, financing, all of the important functions regarding your the management. And the structure of the organization, top level management, middle level managers, there is a connection between the lower level and the middle level. The structure is very important element of the organization. He suggests the structure of the organization. And there is a federalism, there is a parity, authority, responsibility, there is authority, responsibility relationships. This is one of the important part of this, the federalism, and management by the objectives. That means he framed the tool is a management by the objectives. Every organization led by the objectives. The term is known as the management by the objective. It was established in 1960s period. Okay, and the sixth one is organizational changes. The Peter Drucker also suggested the organization point of view changes are essential. Must be accept the possible change for the betterment of the organization. That's a part of the organization change. That means the surroundings are changing very fast. So must be care the changes happening in the environment, external environment, political environment, economical environment. So these are the important contribution made by the Peter Drucker. The first one is the nature of the management functions, the organization structure, federalism, the management by the objectives, and the organizational changes. These are the important contributions made by the Peter Drucker in the field of the management. Okay, and after that the Michael Porter. So another important person relating to the management is known as the Michael Porter. The Michael Porter is a very important contributor in the field of the management, and he developed in five force factor. His contribution is known as the five force factor. At the five force factor there is a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the industry rival. That means he make the important elements. That means five forces. Identify the five forces of the organization. What are the five forces? One is the competitive rivalry. There is a chance for the competition. That is the competitors. Then supplier power, buying power, threat of the substitutions, and the threat of the new entry. And these are the five important contributions made by the five important forces that affecting the management or the organization. The first one is the competitive rivalry. That means rivalry means there is a chance of strength of the competitions. In a business point of view, there may be possibility for the competition. And who are they? And how does the quality of their product and service compare with others? That means you must be ensure the quality for your product, because there will be chance for the competition. So whenever you make a certain product, you must be aware about the quality of your product, because your product is compete with others. So there is a competition, is a part of the management. So take the competition and to achieve the benefit of the organization. That's the first important element is competition, is a competitive rivalry. That's a look at the number of strength of the competitor. How many competitors that you have. You measure the number of the competitor that you have faced. The term is known as the competition rivalry. And second one is the supplier power. It's determined by the how easy it for your suppliers to increase their price. How many potential suppliers do you have? That means as a success mantra of the business do not depend upon the single suppliers. Suppose you are engaged in the production, you do not depend upon the single supplier. You have you definitely ensure the more than two or more suppliers that you have, because the supplier is a very important element. So this determine how easy it for your suppliers to increase their price. You have to maintain the good relation between the suppliers for the production point of view. The supply power is one of the important factors that influencing your the decision making in a competitive environment. And second one is the supplier power, and third one is the buying power. That's a buyers. Here you ask yourself how easy it for your buyers to drive your prices down. How many buyers are there and how big are their orders? Because buying power is very important element. Your product is whenever your product is treated as success, that means purely it's accepted by the customers, consumers. Suppose your buyers are asking too much your product, that means your product is almost success in the market. And you ask yourself how easy it for you the buyers to drive your price down. How many buyers are there and how big are their orders? That's a very important element. The buyers, the buying motives is a very important element, depends upon the business. So there is a buying power is very important element, and there is threat of the substitution. That naturally chance substitute product available in the market, because there is a cutthroat competition, and there may be chance for the similar or the substitute product available in the market. This refers likelihood of your customers finding different way of doing what you do. That suppose your soap, there is chance for the substitute product. Suppose you are the toothpaste, the chance for the substitute product. So find out threat of the substitution. There is possibility for the threat of the substitution in the market. That is the fourth important element, threat of the substitution. And the threat of new entrant. That's the market is not a monopoly. There is a large number of the buyers and sellers existing in the market. Your position can be affected the people ability entry over the market. The new entry will be maybe discouraging you the firm. So you must be aware of the threat of the new firms arrival in the market. Think about how easily this could be done and how could take the decision right way. So this is a very important element. These are the 5 important factors affecting the Michael Porter. The Michael Porter believed that the competition, the competitors, buyers, suppliers, substitute product, these are very important factors affecting you as the business. Therefore, make the 5 important forces. There is a competitive rivalry, suppliers, buying powers, threat of substitution, and threat of the new entry. These are the important 5 forces that affecting you as the industry. Okay, so there is a bargaining power of the suppliers, the buying power, threat of the substitute, and also the threat of the new entrants. These are the important parts relating with the Michael Porter theory. So this is competition. It's a very important element that influence you the business, and threat of the competitor, threat of the substitution, suppliers, buyers, and the rivals. These are the important factors that affecting you the business. A theory is known as the Michael Porter theory. Okay. And after that, the C.K. Prahalad, the last important contributor in the field of the business management point of view. That's a modern thinker is a C.K. Prahalad. Prahalad makes a lot of the books regarding the business management, and Prahalad suggests the concept of the core competency. Every organization have their own core competency. The core competency theory, Prahalad leads to concept the business process outsourcing. He focusing the concept of the business process outsourcing. And he identified the core competency and the focus on them. Every business organization identify the core competency and focus on them. So getting everything else done through the outside agencies. That means the business process outsourcing. Prahalad പറയുന്നത് ഓരോ ഓർഗനൈസേഷനും കോർ കോമ്പറ്റൻസി ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. അതിന് നിങ്ങൾ അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് BPA ചെയ്യാം, ഔട്ട്സോഴ്സിംഗ് ചെയ്യാം, എൻറ്ററിംഗ് അഗ്രിമെന്റ് വിത്ത് തേർഡ് പേഴ്സൺ, നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫംഗ്ഷൻസ് പെർഫോം ചെയ്യാം. So Prahalad suggests 5 important factors as part of the core competency. The first one, the core competency cannot be copied easily by others. Suppose you are adopting your core competency, cannot be copied easily by others because it is your own strategy. Suppose you identify your competency, it cannot be copied by easily by others. So adopt such kind of the core competency. That's the first important element. The core competency cannot be copied easily by others. And another one is core competence, largely a technical competency because new product and outcomes of the technology. And he suggests that you are the core competency largely in the form of the technological competency because the new product and the new technology. That is a part of the core competency. You made the core competency regarding the technological side and the usage of the technology. And third one is core competence does not reside the one part of the product. That means your does not reside one particular product. That means your competency for the entire organization, not for the particular product. And underscore leadership is a wide range of product services. And he suggests that the core competence does not reside one particular product. You have the core competency for the entire product line. That's a very important element of the core competency. And the development of the core competency requires the learning organization. Learning organization, that means continuous learning organization, that means academic futuristic organization, the develop the core competency. So development of the core competency require the learning, knowledgeable organization will definitely adopt the core competency. Okay, and last one, the core competency require the corporate imagination, realize its potential. The core competency means it's like a imagination to become. That means it's like a self achievement. The competency require the corporate imagination. Suppose you frame the core competency, it's require the corporate imagination to realize its potential. These are the important elements regarding the C.K. Prahalad core competency theory. The core competence theory, the Prahalad leads the concept of the business process outsourcing, and he suggests that suppose you can't work alone, definitely you go for the business process outsourcing. That means entering the agreement with third person to perform the human relation function. The term is known as the business process outsourcing. But you have the core competency, and you have to ensure the core competency. That your core competency cannot be copied easily by others, and is maybe in the form of the corporate technological format. And core competency does not reside on the particular product, and development of the core competency require a learning organization, and core competency require the corporate imagination and realize its potential. These are the important contributions made by the C.K. Prahalad relating with the management. And so the concept is focusing on the business process outsourcing in the field of the core competency. So that's the core competency is one of the important contributions made by the C.K. Prahalad. Okay, let me conclude. The first we discussed the theories regarding the Chester and Bernard. The first important person is Chester and Bernard. Bernard is one of the important contributors in the field of this management, and his theory is focusing on the incentives and authority, and he made the 7 important rules regarding the communications. And what are the important 7 rules regarding the communication? 7 important rules. The channel of communication should not the channels line, everyone should have familiar, and these are the 7 important rules regarding the communication. And after Herbert Simon suggesting the 5 important principles: the concept of organization, the decision making, bounded rationally, administrative and organization communications. Lyndall contribution, the 8 important principles, very similar to the Henry 5 principle. You are the scalar chains, spanner control, division of works, coordinations, and the principle by objective. These are the important contribution made by the Lyndall. Now Peter Drucker's contribution, nature of management functions, and the organization structure, federalism, and management by objectives, and organizational changes. And this is the Michael Portal, 5 important forces: competitive rivalry, you are the suppliers, you are the buying power, threat of substitution, and threat of the new entry. And finally, the C.K. Prahalad theory, that is the core competency. Core competency theory, Prahalad leads the concept of business process outsourcing and identify your core competency. And the 5 important rules regarding the core competency. Explain the 5 important rules regarding the core competency. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much, and thank you for watching me.